All right, time for the matinee show. Matinee number 51.
Yeah.
New movies.
Yeah.
We saw 2 in the theater this week, and we saw one that was exclusive to Shudder, which
Yeah.
I think also got a limited theatrical release, but it didn't play here, but I've seen it on Shudder.
Yeah, you want to do that one first?
Yeah, we're going to talk
right.
about that one first, because we saw that one the earliest. This is the horror film Tigers Are Not Afraid.
Yeah.
Now, I had heard there was a lot of buzz about this, because I guess it kind of made the rounds of a lot of film festivals and stuff, and it got really good reviews, and it got like some kind of like famous horror authors like coming out, advocating for it. And as I said, it did get a limited theatrical release, but it didn't play in any theaters here that I know. But I had been hearing about it for a long time, and just probably about 5 days ago from when we're recording this, Shudder added it, and it's a Shudder exclusive. And I think it's also streaming on Shudder in Canada, and I think in the UK as well. So it's on there if you want to see it. Now, this movie is this is a really, really good movie. I liked this a lot. It's kind of like, it's reminded me very much of the Guillermo del Toro movie, The Devil's Backbone. It's very much in that kind of vein. It's like basically magical realism. It's not quite as fantastical as Guillermo del Toro's stuff tends to be, like easily not as, fantastical as, say, like Pan's Labyrinth or something. But it's definitely a kind of thing where everything is kind of seen through the eyes of a child. There's like a horrible, war-torn situation, and all these kids that have to put up with this stuff. And like, then there's like a fantasy element that you're not sure is like really real, or if it's like, the way that the kids are dealing with, the horrors around them.
Cat's tearing shit up again. Hey,
Yeah.
Stop it, Poogie. All right.
She's such a bad girl.
Yeah, she's been getting on my nerves all day.
Yeah, she really wants Daddy to pay attention.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this was actually written and directed by Issa Lopez, who I guess, I haven't seen any of her other movies, but apparently she's like a really famous writer and director. She does like a lot of movies and TV in Mexico. And this is actually set around, I don't think they ever say what town it was, do they?
I thought it was TJ.
It might be, but it's like, I don't remember if they named the town or not, but it's in Mexico, and it's kind of in the grips of, these kind of drug cartels or drug gangs that are like fighting with each other, and they don't ever get caught for anything because they have ties to like this politician that's either running for office or is already in office. So basically, there's all this stuff about, people's parents being taken, for trafficking purposes or whatever. And so
Very similar to Rambo, actually.
Yeah, well, yeah, now what I'm saying, it's like,
we're going to talk about Rambo.
Which we'll get to in a little bit. But so, so there's this whole thing of like all these like orphans. So the main character in this is a little girl named Estrella, and she's 10 years old. And at the very beginning of the movie, there's kind of like, she's in school and they're talking about fairy tales, because like I said, this has a very fairy tale feel to it. And there's like a shooting, like a gang shooting, like outside the school. So the kids are all like under the desks and freaking out and everything. And her teacher gives her 3 pieces of chalk, and she says that these are magical wishes. Now, as soon as like Estrella gets out of school and she sees the dead guy, like right outside the school, like he's all covered up and there's blood everywhere. And then like this stream of blood starts to like go by itself, and like it leads all the way back to her house. And when she gets back to her house, she discovers that her mother is gone. Like, so her mother has been taken by one of the drug gangs. So Estrella is now an orphan, and so she goes to live with this other group of boys that are orphans, and they live on like these little rooftops and stuff, and kind of steal to get by and all this other stuff. And like I said, there's kind of like really cool like fantasy elements to it. The first part of it is almost kind of like, I've seen it compared to City of God, so it is kind of similar to that. I've seen it compared to Sin Nombre, if you've seen that. But so there's like all these little things where the first part of it is kind of filmed almost like a war documentary. Like it's like there's a lot of handheld camera and stuff. But then there's these little elements, like I said, like this blood trail. Estrella starts thinking, because the first wish that she makes with her chalk is that her mother would come back. And it does seem like her mother comes back, but like sort of as a ghost or like a revenant or something that she kind of sees in the shadows. And then there's like all this tiger imagery, because the tigers represent, the kids, I guess, the way they handle their fear, like fighting back against the drug lords and things like that. Though, like, it's a symbol of bravery and and shit like that. So there's a lot of tiger imagery. Like there's little tiger, graffiti on the wall that like becomes animated. One of the orphan kids who's like a 4-year-old, I think his name is Marito, and he has like a little stuffed tiger that he carries around that like comes to life later on in the film. But the interesting thing about it is that you're not sure, like I said, if Estrella, because Estrella is the only one seeing this stuff. Like nobody else says, hey, the tiger's walking around, or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it might just be, it could be that it's real, because there are some like the wishes that she makes do come true, although not in the way that she expects them to.
I interpret it as psychic visions.
It could have been. It could be read either way.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You know what I mean? It's kind of like she said. It's like a Guillermo del Toro film.
Very much like The Devil's Backbone. It reminded me of that.
Street kids get tied in with the drug cartels. The kid steals a gun in the first act of the movie.
Yeah, from Kako. And his phone too. That's why they start coming after the kids, because he steals his phone.
there is kind of like action and adventure scenes in the movie. So it was a good mix. So it's entertaining, it's kind of cross genre in a way, almost kind of like crime thriller, paranormal adventure, slightly horror movie.
Yeah,
it's everything kind of with like some paranormal stuff happening in it. So I think it was a pretty good movie. I think just even the average person, who's not really big into these genres would be entertained by it.
Yeah, because in a lot of ways,
acting's really good.
The kids in this are amazing, and
it's all in Spanish. It's a Mexican director. Yeah, you wouldn't really want to watch this dubbed into English.
I don't want to watch anything dubbed into English.
Nothing dubbed is any good.
No, the dubbing is never as good.
It's never as good as the original original language.
Yeah.
But, the subs are easy to follow. It's not a complicated story.
Not really. And it's like you said, it's almost kind of like, and I was watching a couple of the reviews of it, and one guy I saw said he wasn't sure he'd even call it a horror movie. It's definitely a horror movie, but it's got like aspects of dark fantasy to it. It's got like, it's weird to say that it's like, it's really grounded in reality, but then it has like dark fantasy on top of it. Like I said, it's not quite as out there. There's not like monsters or anything like that, like in some of Del Toro's movies. No,
they're ghosts.
But there's ghosts. There's like just like weird imagery.
Visions.
Like I said,
the Trail of Blood. I always thought it was some kind of psychic vision to help her figure out
find things.
Yeah.
Like it was leading her
somewhere.
Like it was
leading her somewhere. Yeah. You don't want to spoil too much of the movie, but
this is definitely a really really good movie. And I can see why it's been getting like so many accolades, because I think it won awards at pretty much every festival it played at.
Yeah, it's a quality movie.
But definitely good movie. And like I said, Del Toro came out like advocating for it. Stephen King has come out advocating, Neil Gaiman. So like this has got like a lot of big names like backing up on it and like recommending.
Yeah, they're not wrong.
Yeah, and I would definitely recommend it. Just keep in mind it's not, it's almost like a realistic type of movie. It's almost like a horror take on, like I said, City of God. Or if you really like The Devil's Backbone, you should really, really dig this, because it's very, very similar. Yeah. So, it's on Shudder right now, so you should probably go and check it out. Now, the next movie we saw this week actually popped up in the theaters with, like, no warning, no nothing.
Yeah, nobody really knows about this movie. I've been telling everybody about it, and they're like, what?
Yeah, it's really weird. It's like, I didn't even see, and we go to the movies all the time, you guys, like, for the show. I didn't even see any trailers for this. It just, like, popped up on my AMC app, and I'm like...
It's called Freaks.
Yeah, I'm like, what is that all about?
Freaks was a real good one. I liked it. I enjoyed every bit of this movie.
I did, too. This was, like, surprisingly good for something that just kind of came out of nowhere.
I went into it not knowing anything, and for the first, like, 15 minutes, I'm like, what the hell's going on? They're afraid to go outside. This guy's got his daughter, and he's telling her don't go outside. He's making her remember a bunch of stuff. And there's some weird effects going on every now and then. It's not really explained. I almost don't want to spoil it.
I'm going to try not to.
Yeah, if you liked Firestarter, that old Stephen King movie.
This reminded me a lot of that.
It's a lot like that. It also has elements of the story kind of like X-Men.
Yeah.
This is not a superhero movie, but it kind of is. It's the premise that superhero movies are kind of founded on. It's psychics, basically.
Yeah.
People with weird psychic abilities and paranormal powers, and it's somehow genetic, which is kind of like something out of X-Men.
Yeah, it's similar to that. Like, it's not... Right. This is a very... it's very low budget, but this is one where...
Well, you wouldn't know.
But this is one where, because the writing is so good and the story is so compelling, that you don't really notice that it's only like a few locations and stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and that just goes to show.
Movie,
you don't need a shit ton of money and, tons of CGI and shit like that to make something good and worth watching.
Yeah, and I guess I could probably give this away. These psychics are a threat because they're fucking powerful.
Well, in the same way that the girl in Firestarter was.
Yeah. So there's a government agency that's hunting them down. And I guess killing them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got a special concentration camp for them. It's like something out of Fallout, a big vault in the center of a mountain. And it's about some people who are... Some of these psychics are being hunted down. And that was kind of like the similar premise out of Firestarter. What was his name? Rainbird? Rainbird, who worked for the damn... I think it was called, what, Unit something or other?
I can't remember now. It's been so long since I've seen it.
And it was a special government unit that hunted down psychics. Drugged them up and studied them and tried to figure them out, And it's a premise like that, but it's pretty badass. I don't want to give it away about of what these powers are.
Yeah.
Because
I should probably
better not to know what the powers are.
That's what I mean. I really liked, and I think I'll put in the title that there's spoilers in this because I don't want to.
It's very difficult not to spoil.
It is very difficult to talk about it, but it's one of those movies where you really can't.
It's almost better if you go into this not knowing anything.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. I'm really glad. Literally all I knew about this. I didn't watch the trailer or nothing. I just saw the thing. I saw the poster, and then I saw the 2-sentence thing where it called it a sci-fi thriller about a father and daughter. And the father won't let the daughter leave the house. That was all I knew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm really glad that I didn't know, because the first part of this movie where you go in and it's just this dad and this daughter and he's taping up the mail slot.
You think he's crazy. Yeah.
You just think he's a nut because it looks like he's stockpiling all this shit. He's making her repeat all this information about her, which isn't her name.
He doesn't let her go outside.
He doesn't let her go outside.
Yeah, she's 7.
And and he's saying all this stuff about we can't go outside, they'll kill us and stuff. And then, but she's looking out the window and everything looks pretty fucking normal out there. So you're what the hell is going on? Is the dad just a nut or what? But then there's little clues. That one of the coolest things about this movie is that a lot of the stuff is explained as it goes along, but a lot of shit you gotta look at the backgrounds of stuff. There'll be a news report on TV that's muted. You have to read the little thing at the little text at the bottom.
It out, but it's giving you all the hints as to what is going on.
Yeah. So I really like that they did that, because they didn't need a big budget to show all of the stuff they were talking about. They would just have it on a news report, in a TV in the background or stuff like that. And so it kind of becomes things are revealed very slowly. And I like the way that they kind of played with your expectations too, because at one point, the little girl, she's 7 years old, who is played by Lexi Kolker. I think she's been in a couple small roles before this, but she pretty much carries this whole movie for being a little kid. She was really 7 when this was filmed, and that's how old she is in the movie.
Yeah, the acting's really good across the board. The Imagineering and the world building is good across the board.
Yeah, they could totally expand this concept.
Oh yeah, you can make a whole series based on this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you definitely could.
There's a bunch of cool shit you could do with this.
Yeah.
You could do an MCU with this.
That's what I was thinking, when I was watching it, especially when I saw the end, I was they could totally continue this story.
In a way, it kind of felt kind of like Brightburn too.
I was thinking that as well. It is kind of similar to that in the way that it's sort of I don't want to call it necessarily a superhero movie, but it did kind of remind me of that sort of more realistic, grounded, people with superpowers type.
Yeah, kind of like the one with Mr. Glass and all. M. Land Shyamalan, whatever. That guy's name.
I just call him Shyamalan, ding dong.
Yeah.
I guess it's Shyamalan. I don't know.
Yeah, Shyamalan.
And so I was gonna say, so when she's looking out the window one day, she sees this
Yeah.
This creepily hand-painted ice cream truck.
Yeah.
With a creepy Bruce Dern in there.
Yeah, Bruce Dern's... don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
Playing Mr. Snowcone.
Yeah, don't spoil it. You can't spoil this movie.
But like I said, you think things are going to go one way. It doesn't really go the way that you expect it to go.
I think we ought to walk away from this one. We'll just tell
and the girl thinks she's
it.
seeing ghosts in her closet and all this other kind of... There's all kind of crazy shit going on in this movie.
Yeah.
And like I said, it takes a long time to reveal, but I liked that. I liked the slow reveal. It's really suspenseful because the first part of it, you're sitting there going, "What the fuck is going on?" It's is there really? Because everything looks normal outside. Is he just crazy and he won't let her go outside and he's a crazy person, or is there really something going on?
Yeah, we kind of spoiled that aspect of it though.
Well, I'll put that. I said I was going to put spoiler in the
the
title, so it's if you want to see it, don't watch the middle part. I'll just say it to that. But seriously, there's a lot of movies this kind of reminds me of. Like I said, Firestarter, X-Men. There's one called Push, which I haven't seen, but I've seen a lot of people compare it to that. Brightburn, kind of a little bit of a 10 Cloverfield Lane kind of thing as well. Some people have compared it to Room. So if you like that kind of thing, and like I said, something that can be done with a low budget.
Oh, you know what else?
What?
Remember Heroes, the television movie?
Yeah.
There's some of that, but it's a lot darker.
Yeah.
A lot more closer to Brightburn.
And you know what's weird? It's the dad that's the guy that plays the dad. He's played by Emil Hirsch, and the whole movie I'm sitting there going, "Where the fuck have I seen that guy before? Oh my god, he's been in tons of shit." He was actually in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He played J.C. Bristow, which is on Netflix, I think, and you should definitely go check that one out too because that's an awesome movie. And he was also in Into the Wild. I think I remembered him from that.
It's a good flick.
But yeah, this is a really good, and it's just crazy how it just kind of came out of nowhere.
They didn't pay for any advertisement.
No, I guess not. I didn't even see a trailer. Apparently some people did, but I never saw one. And like I said, I'm glad that I went into it not knowing anything about it. So like I said, I put a spoiler in the title, so if you watch it, it's your fault. But it's better if you go into it not really knowing what's going on. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's a really good movie. If it's playing in a theater near you, you should definitely go check it out because it's really, really good. And the third movie we saw this week, saw at the theater. Tom's been waiting for this one for a really long time.
Did not disappoint.
Rambo. Last Blood. Also known as Rambo 5.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. Okay, the critics now, they're fucking trying to tear this movie apart. They're saying it's sexist and misogynistic and it's fucking racist and shit, even though the premise is very similar to... the other one's about the tigers. Tigers
Tigers Aren't Afraid,
Tigers Aren't Afraid. Mexican drug cartels and stuff.
Yeah.
And human trafficking. It was a badass flick. I'd probably put it... The best Rambo movie, of course, is going to be First Blood, that first one.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to put them in order. All right. Of what I think is the best. All right. First Blood. Mm-hmm. Rambo: The Fight Continues, which is the one before this one. I like that one.
I like that one because it was super gory.
Super gory,
I was into it.
It was just real fun. This one, and then 2 and 3. Yeah. I liked them all, but...
I don't remember 2 and 3. It was so long ago that I saw them.
2 and 3 were just movies of their time. They weren't bad, but they were big budget Hollywood action movies at the time, and they had a lot of the idiosyncrasies of those movies of the time. Although, they weren't as cheesy as some of the other ones, but they were okay. They were good. Yeah. But no, I like this movie. It's a simple tale of revenge. It's not trying to do anything real complicated. The acting in it was good. Story was tight. And it was just, Rambo, he goes back home, where was it, Arizona?
Arizona.
Goes back home to Arizona.
To his little farm or whatever.
It's somewhere near the Mexican border. He's basically kind of raised this kind of like, I guess it'd say it's like an adopted daughter. Yeah. Who's this Mexican-American girl.
Yeah, Gabrielle, her name is, right?
You're right.
Or Gabriella.
And I guess it's her grandmother, I think, is also there. All right,
because her mom's dead.
Rambo's friend. And Rambo's got this farm. It's got tunnels underneath it and everything. He's raising horses. And the girl, Gabriella, she wants to find her father who's back in Mexico. The grandma's like, no, don't go down there, you know. So she goes to Tijuana. And one thing, I'm not going to spoil it all. One thing leads to another. A cartel of a narco terrorists who also have like a human trafficking operation have captured her, and they put her in a damn dungeon, you know, and then they send her to a brothel. Rambo, of course, finds out about this, and he goes to Tijuana to find her. And he gets fucked up. And then in the end, you know, you can tell just from the damn trailers that they end up back at his house for a big shootout. It was just a simple movie, and I liked it. I thought it was good.
Yeah, it's like, surprisingly, this is a very short movie. I think it was only like it was only like 85 minutes or something like that. Surprisingly, it had a lot more character detail.
Yeah, it was an hour of movie and acting and stuff.
Than I was expecting.
Yeah.
It didn't have, like, it had a lot of action sequences and a lot of violence, but not as much
as I thought
I thought it was going to have, and like not as much as the last Rambo movie, which to me, that one just seemed like wall to wall exploding heads.
Yeah, I like that one.
Maybe it wasn't, but like I said, that's why I liked it, because it was super gory. But this one actually had, you know, the action set pieces were like, you know, well paced. Like there was like large like gaps in between them, because a lot of it was, you know, Rambo's character kind of like going to find his adopted daughter, and then like getting messed up by the drug, and then like he was trying to get help from a journalist, and you know, then so it was only really three big action set pieces.
Yeah. I have a feeling that there more was shot, but it was cut out of the movie so it could get an R rating.
Yeah, so they might add it back in for the Blu-ray.
I'm thinking that really there's going to be, usually, because even in the Expendables series, you can get the unrated versions of them on the Blu-ray, and they're actually bigger and better.
Yeah.
So I think this is more of an advertisement for the damn Blu-ray.
Probably.
All right, because I'm definitely going to buy this a Blu-ray. Most Rambo fans are going to buy the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And the Blu-ray is probably going to have a lot more on it.
A lot more extra shit.
A lot more
the thing is, there is, like, you know, like I said...
It's a satisfying movie. I walked away satisfied.
There's a lot of gore in it. There's, like, you know, people get exploded, people get beheaded.
Yeah, shit, man. He cuts a dude's heart out. He goes Aztec on a dude. There's a bunch of, a lot of Mexican themes in it. Half the movie's in Spanish with subtitles, which I thought that was a nice touch. I think the movie's going to sell very well in Central and South America.
Probably, even though I read that it was actually not shot in Mexico. I think it was shot in Bulgaria and Tenerife, like in the Canary Islands.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway...
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I didn't realize it looked like Mexico, but it
looks like the way you think Mexico would look like, at least.
Yeah.
But I think... oh, shit. I forgot what I was going to say about it. I think the Blu-ray is going to have more stuff on it.
I kind of figured that it probably will.
Yeah. I liked it.
But
I walked away satisfied with the movie. No, I thought it was good.
I liked it too, because it's kind of like, you know, obviously he's much older now. He's in his 70s, and this is kind of like almost like his kind of last hurrah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he thought he'd finally like come to some kind of peace in his life, and then somebody came along and fucked it up, and he had to like, you know, get back into that mode again.
Yeah.
Now, I have read that, because I guess when he went to the Cannes Film Festival to sell this, one thing I heard about this was not actually the original script for this movie. The movie was supposed to be called Rambo 5: The Savage Hunt. And it was supposed to be Rambo and a whole bunch of like special forces guys fighting a genetically engineered Superman. That was what the original script was.
Damn.
But then, you know, there was all this other rewrites and stuff like that. Because Sylvester Stallone did co-write this. He didn't direct it. I think that was, what's his name? Adrian Grunberg or whatever his name is. He was the one that directed it. So, so apparently when Sly was at Cannes, like talking about the movie and like, you know, trying to sell it to distributors and stuff, he said that if they make another Rambo movie, because I don't think he doesn't want to play the character anymore, because he's like, you know, he's much older now. He said if they make another one, then he's thinking about maybe doing a prequel with a young actor, like before Rambo like goes off to Vietnam.
Yeah.
Which I think that actually might be a kind of interesting
Yeah.
That might be kind of an interesting
I would
exploration.
I'd love to see an Expendables 4. They got to do it another Expendables. I don't want them to stop the whole military action genre.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. I remember what I was going to say. He had the. It's implied that Rambo may be Mexican American, or at least part Mexican American, isn't it? Doesn't it?
Did they imply that?
Well,
What?
he had a daughter who was Mexican American. He spoke Spanish, and he came from right there along that Mexican border. And remember when
I thought
the
he was
cartel
Italian.
checked his ID? What'd they call him? Juanito Rambo.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I thought they were just making fun of him.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I thought maybe they were trying to imply that maybe he was part Mexican himself.
Maybe, I don't know.
Because Rambo could pass as part Mexican.
He probably could, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, obviously Sylvester Stallone's Italian.
He's
Italian,
Italian,
but
yeah, but an Italian guy could claim himself. Yeah, well, my dad or my
Yeah.
mom was Mexican. That might work. I don't know.
okay, now at the
Dark
last
hair,
at the last end of the last Rambo movie, the super gory one, Rambo
Yeah.
4 or whatever it was. Now, wasn't that the same farm? Didn't he go home at the end and he goes to the farm and then there's the mailbox that says Rambo on it?
Yeah.
And it was the farm?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was remembering that right.
Yeah.
Because when I saw the farm again, I'm like, God, that looks really familiar, but I didn't remember if that happened.
Yeah, it's
if they explained how he got to that.
I was led to believe that he grew up there on that farm.
Yeah,
and
that's
went
what I
back
thought
to
they
it.
said too.
And it was right there on the Mexican border.
Yeah. And I guess the woman that was living there, the grandmother of Gabriella, was she a friend or the housekeeper or
No, she was somehow a friend of the family or was it his girlfriend?
No.
Wasn't his girlfriend.
No.
She was actually younger than Sylvester Stallone. So,
Yeah, by quite a large margin.
but I don't know. I'd have to see it again.
At first, I wasn't real clear. At first I thought that she was Gabriella's mom.
I think it's grandmother.
But it was her grandmother because then they later said that the mom was dead.
Yeah.
And that the dad had abandoned them and went back to Mexico, and that's what caused all the trouble. Gabriella
She
wanted to go find her biological father, but
they lived with him.
Yeah.
And that farm was pretty big.
Yeah.
It had a bunch of stuff on it. He had the whole thing undermined with a bunch of tunnels.
He had all. He was down there making spears, smelting.
He had his
metal
own
and stuff.
forge.
Yeah.
Well, that's a callback to the other movie.
Yeah.
He was doing that.
So he had all kind of fun shit down there.
Yeah, I'd like to see it again though. It was. I think it was a worthy entry. I think the movie will do pretty well.
Yeah, and
I know it'll do well streaming and Blu-ray. People will probably buy the shit out of that.
And I think the way you ranked them, I think I would agree with that too.
Yeah.
I said, I think I liked Rambo 4 better just because it was gorier and more over
and
the
it was
top.
non-stop action through the whole
And this
thing.
one was much more subdued.
Yeah.
It had a lot of gore in it, but it was few and far between.
It was more of a
spaced out.
story, and it was in some ways it was almost kind of like Taxi Driver with a bigger ending, with a bigger ending at it.
It had a lot more emotional.
Yeah.
Stuff going on in it.
Yeah.
I guess the relationship between him and his adopted daughter.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff. So is it? But
Sly was doing acting in this.
Yeah.
It's acting.
Acting.
Not some acting. It's not so much just shootouts. That was the problem I think with 3. 3 was just one big long shootout. It really wasn't that great.
Which can get boring by itself. Boring. It's a very delicate balance, in action movies. Yeah. You don't want, because people that like action movies, they want action, obviously, but it can't just be wall-to-wall action the whole time, or people get bored of that. You have to have some variety, unless it's John Wick, in which case.
Well, they definitely showed us something new in this. They showed us Rambo in an urban environment.
Yeah, so he was kind of out of his element.
He's out of his element. He's not as good in a urban environment as he is in a forest or a jungle or a desert, because that's what Rambo's specialty was, is to be in the wild.
Yeah.
And fighting gangsters in a city is a totally different a totally different game, and he's not that great at it.
Yeah. Well, as you wouldn't be, because that's not his specialty.
It's not the same situation.
That's why he wanted, to lure them back into his own, where he was more comfortable.
Yeah, he ends up luring them back to his ranch, and his ranch was already set up to be a fortified defense, and then he makes it even more intense for when they show up. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like the end sequence, like the last action sequence, which is obviously the best one. But that was that was pretty fucking.
The guys that played the cartel members all did a good job. They really came off as bad guys.
Yeah,
and they didn't come off as being inept. They were all, you could tell they were all like ex-military and ex-police, Mexican police guys, which that's usually where those cartel members come from.
Yeah,
and they had good equipment and stuff. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And I liked it.
Yeah,
good movie.
If you like Rambo movies, I'm sure you will probably like
I definitely want to see it again. I want to buy it on Blu-ray.
Yeah. And like I said, I hope there's more gore in it because I like that kind of thing.
I think there's going to be more on that Blu-ray. I think there's going to be an unrated release that's going to have more stuff on it. Probably, just like, a good Blu-ray has the theatrical release and then the director's
unrated here's all the extra shit that they made us take out.
Yeah, like another 20 minutes of cool shit. I bet you there's should have been a whole bunch of stuff there.
I feel like they do that. They probably do it on purpose now. Like since DVDs and Blu-rays became a thing, they're just like, let's cut stuff out on purpose just so we have something to stick back.
Well, there was some bad shit had happened. We know it happened, but it happened off screen.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But I bet you there's a Blu-ray version where it shows that happening.
Yeah. And I'd be curious to see that because the results of it were pretty nasty.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I said,
I'm waiting for the Blu-ray.
If you like Rambo series, then go check it out. So it's probably be the last one with Sylvester Stallone anyway. But like I said, they might do a prequel one of these days.
And they'll probably do some Expendables. I bet you they'll come out with another Expendable. And that's another thing, some people say, well, Expendables 3 sucked. The theatrical release of Expendable 3 wasn't that great. But I got out the Blu-ray and the
director's cut.
The director's cut that comes on the Blu-ray is fucking awesome.
Usually the director's cut is better.
It's a lot better than the theatrical release.
It depends on who the director is, obviously, but because some of them are a little self-indulgent.
Expendables 3, the director's cut, Blu-ray, is the best of all the Expendables, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think.
Did I watch it? I didn't watch it.
I don't think you saw it.
I saw the first one.
Yeah,
but I don't think I've seen any of the other ones.
No, they were good. They got better as they went, as long as you watch the correct version.
Yeah. Just a pro tip.
Yeah.
All right, so check out Rambo: Last Blood in theaters now. We'll see you next time. Bye.